In ancient Mexico, death wasn't an ending, it was a sacred journey, a return to where all life comes from. Life and death danced together, each giving meaning to the other. Rituals filled the air with copal, inviting the dead to come back and talk with their families. Death wasn't a mystery to be scared of, but a sacred path to honor. It was a transformation, a truth that gave meaning to every breath. The ancient Mesoamericans saw the universe as a grand cycle. Nothing truly ended, everything transformed. Life and death were like the cycles of the stars, the seasons, and the water. This cycle was seen in corn. The buried seed was reborn as food for the people. Life was a loan from the gods, to be lived and then returned. The cycle continued, beautiful and unbroken. All across Mesoamerica, civilizations like the Zapotec and Maya honored their ancestors as part of a chain that never broke. The Zapotecs carved sacred tombs, filled with offerings to guide the soul's journey. For the Maya, the soul traveled between worlds, connected by the sacred tree. Rituals and offerings kept the connection with ancestors and the cosmos alive. Through stone and memory, the living and the dead stayed connected. Even with their differences, Mesoamerican cultures all believed one thing for sure: death was a doorway, not the end. Remembering the dead became a lively celebration, not a sad chore. Altars and offerings brought worlds together, showing that love and memories live on past death. The never-ending dance of generations brought everyone together. For the ancient Mesoamericans, corn was more than just food. It was the very essence of humanity. The Popol Vuh tells us how humans were made from corn, creating a deep bond with the plant. Planting corn mirrored life and death. The buried seed was reborn as nourishment. This cycle taught that death was a change, not an end. Farming was a sacred ritual, with each step honored through ceremonies and offerings. In corn, they saw the endless promise: life, death, and rebirth. The planting and harvesting seasons weren't just about farming, they were spiritual moments that marked the turning of the universe's wheel. The harvest was a time of celebration and thanks, when the curtain between the world of the living and the dead became thinner. During harvest festivals, people honored their dead, connecting the gathering of corn with the gathering of spirits. The souls of ancestors were invited to come back and enjoy the fruits of their labor. Families prepared special meals with the freshly harvested corn, placing them on altars along with flowers and gifts from the earth. Marigold flowers welcomed the spirits. Pulque, a sacred drink from the maguey plant, was offered to thirsty souls. These were not sad occasions but joyful celebrations of reunion. The aromatic smoke of copal purified the air and created a sacred space. The column of smoke was seen as a spiritual messenger, and a fragrant path for spirits to come down to earth. Families communicated with the spirits, sharing the fruits of their labor and the warmth of their love. These ancient harvest festivals were the seeds of the modern day of the dead, a time to welcome ancestors into the world of the living. The cycle of corn taught them that life and death were connected, and the harvest celebrations gave them a way to live this truth. It was a beautiful way to show giving and receiving, and to keep the bonds with their loved ones alive. When the heart stops beating, the ancient Mexicans believed that the soul began a journey to Mictlan, guided by the sacred Xoloitzcuintli, its loyal companion. The journey to Mictlan was a descent through 9 levels, each with challenges that tested the soul. The Xoloitzcuintli helped cross the river, but only those who had treated it well in life. Mountains that crashed together, cutting winds, and a darkness that disoriented. After overcoming all these trials, the soul crossed the lake and appeared before the gods. After going through the 9 levels of the underworld, the soul arrived before Mictlantecutli and Mictecatzihuatl, the lords of the dead. There it found freedom and left behind its memories and burdens. Ready to become one with the underworld, it found eternal peace. The final return home. But once a year, the gods let souls come back to the land of the living. Families would set up altars with candles and marigolds, guiding the spirits home. For a short, magical time, loved ones would return, celebrating the connection between the living and the dead. Every item on the pre-Hispanic altar was like a living prayer. The marigold flowers guided souls with their color and scent. The copal incense purified the space and connected the earth to the spirit world. Everything spoke of memory and eternal love. The pre-Hispanic altar was like a small, holy universe. It brought together the four elements, earth, wind, water, and fire, to honor the visiting souls. The earth was in the food, the wind in the paper banners, water in the jars, and fire in the candles. Each element gave support and guidance, making things peaceful for our loved ones who came back to visit. In the deepest chamber of Mictlan, ruled the divine couple, Mictlan and Mictlan, guardians of the final destiny. They kept the balance between life and death. Their kingdom, Mictlan, was a neutral place where souls rested after their journey. To honor them was to know that life and death are always in balance. Mictlan and Mictlan made sure the endless cycle continued. In ancient Mesoamerica, death was celebrated with joy and beauty. Festivals and dances honored the gods of the underworld, accepting death as part of life. Artists dressed up as skeletons, turning fear into sacred art. Offerings celebrated the endless cycle of the universe. This way, the community honored life and death as sacred companions. The temples of Teotihuacan, Palenque, and Tenochtitlan stand as silent ruins, claimed by time, but their spirit and understanding of life and death live on like an echo through the centuries. It's expressed in every modern Mexican altar, honoring the dead. In every candle and marigold petal, the ancient voice whispers its guidance. Day of the Dead is a living legacy, where memory and love never die. Day of the Dead is like a rich blanket, woven with threads from both native and European cultures, but its deepest roots are definitely from before the Spanish arrived. The way things blended after the conquest didn't erase the old customs, it just gave them new words to express themselves. The main idea, that the dead come back to be with their loved ones, is a continuous thread from the ancient Aztec harvest festivals. This celebration really shows how strong the culture is. The modern Day of the Dead is a lively tradition that still gets its power from its native heart. As long as there's a family building an altar and sharing stories, the thread stays unbroken. The tradition keeps going because it meets a basic human need to remember and to believe that our connections don't just end. It's like spiritual food for both the living and the dead. As long as someone remembers, the souls of the dead will keep finding their way back. They'll follow the smell of the copal incense and the marigolds, drawn by the warm glow of the candles and the love waiting for them. In Mexico, death is like a thin veil that you can easily pass through. On Day of the Dead, families get together, light candles, and share food. They don't do this to be sad, but to celebrate meeting again and the love that goes beyond the physical world. As long as we remember, no one truly leaves us. The Day of the Dead is a promise. We will always save a spot for you, until we meet again.